I'm about to show you guys a clip of the best player in the NBA.
Now with 10 assists, no turnovers, steal, Jokic in transition. I guess that was a slam.
Nikola Jokic might not be the fastest, he might not jump the highest, some would even say his jump shot isn't the most beautiful, although personally, I would disagree.
Jokic has to put it up, falling away, puts it up, bang!
But despite all of that, there is absolutely zero answers for him, and once again, the NBA world was reminded of that, because in Game 1 of the Nuggets rematch against the Lakers, he dropped 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists, all the whilst shooting 65% from the field and turning the ball over, oh that's right, 0 times, not once, and that right there is what separates Jokic from everyone else. There are a lot of players in the NBA that can put up monster stat lines, but no one can do it with the efficiency that Jokic does it at. I mean, following the game, NBA legend James Worthy said this.
To me, he's Magic and Kareem on the floor at the same time. He's a guard, he makes great decisions, hell of a pass, and then when he wants to be Kareem, he goes down and dominates.
Imagine being a combination of two of the greatest players in NBA history, and no one even blinks an eye at that comparison, because how do you really argue it? But getting back to his Game 1 performance, it's more than just the efficiency for Jokic. He has a feel for when he needs to dominate a game more than nearly any player in NBA history. With 7 minutes left in the third quarter, and the game well and truly in the balance, Jokic had taken one shot since the first quarter. That's when he took over. On this first play, it's a pick and roll with Jamal. He gets AD to bite on the initial fake before going right at his chest, and look at his ability to hook it in over the top of the 7'6" wingspan of Anthony Davis. A couple of minutes later, this time Jokic is matched up against the Jokic stopper. Yes, guys, it's Rui Hachimura, the guy who clamped Jokic for one possession on that one play last postseason and was coined the Jokic stopper. Well, since then, he's been cooked every single time, and this was no exception, because watch Jokic hit him with just a little spin move, and he makes a 10-foot hook shot look like a layup. And again against Rui, this time Jokic moves as though he is gonna run a handoff, which drags LeBron out of help position, and with that space to attack, he just uses his physicality to bully Rui before then having the finesse to drop the shot in. But this last bucket was my favorite. Jokic gets the ball in the post against LeBron, and just watch him scanning. He's vigilant of every single defender, right until the last second when the space opens up. He then attacks LeBron off the dribble, and again, it's a soft jumper. Can we just appreciate that all 4 of those buckets came in a similar spot on the floor, but Jokic used a different variety of shots to score on every single occasion? There's just no precedent for how he scores. We've seen incredibly efficient scorers before, but what makes Jokic so unique and so impossible to stop is his sweet spot on the floor is a perfect balance between a mid-range shot and a layup, using floaters and hook shots and even sombor shuffles to just dice teams up in the elbow or in the post. Just to put into perspective how great he is as a scorer, since 2020, Jokic is 5th in points per game during the playoffs, and the only player who has been more efficient than him has been Kawhi Leonard. And like I said, he does this by living in that floater range, ranking 1st in non-restricted field goals made the last 2 postseasons and regular seasons. Unprecedented doesn't begin to do him justice. Now, getting back to his performance against the Lakers, and in particular that third quarter, it wasn't just his scoring. In true Jokic fashion, he also controlled the game with his playmaking. On this first play, it was the Denver Nuggets special.
Pick and roll, Jokic lobs it up there for Gordon.
And speaking of beautifully run actions, look at Murray feed Jokic here in the post. He draws the second defender before looking off Austin Reeves, and Gordon is smart enough to set the screen to free up KCP for the wide open 3. And this was just one of 3 assists he had on KCP made 3s that helped the Nuggets extend that lead, finishing the quarter with 8 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, and a plus 14 14 in 12 minutes. It's not the craziest Jokic stat line you'll ever see in a quarter, but watching that quarter, there was a sense of inevitability about the result, and that was because Jokic decided to up the aggression and put the Lakers to the sword. And it wasn't just the third quarter in which Jokic came up clutch, because following his stint on the bench in the fourth, the Nuggets' lead had started to dwindle. Unfortunately for the Lakers, that inevitability popped its head up yet again.
Basically inevitable. That guy's been inevitable for a long, long time now, man.
And when P-Watt says he's inevitable, the fourth quarter was a perfect example of that. With the game separated by 6, look at Jokic toss AD to the side. Let's be honest, he's a great player, but that doesn't take much to do with the amount of flopping he does. But anyways, he grabs the offensive rebound and casually flips it in. A minute later, with the Lakers still hanging around, Jokic runs a pick and pop with Reggie Jackson, knocking down the 3-ball. And just to prove how supremely athletic he is, he finished the game with 2 dunks. Yes, including picking off LeBron on this play and strolling his way to the rim grazing a dunk at 7 feet tall. That's why we love him. But his final bucket of the game showed the world what a lot of us already know. Nikola Jokic's conditioning is arguably the most impressive part of his game, and that's saying something when you consider the skill set he has. Just look at him on this last play of the game. Denver secures the loose ball, and pause here. Right here is Nikola Jokic, here is Anthony Davis, and here is LeBron James, the 3 biggest guys on the floor. Watch here as Jokic immediately puts his head down, recognizing the space before a slight push off on LeBron to create separation and throwing it down, which again shows his intelligence knowing LeBron is lurking, but it's that ability to consistently put his head down and run the floor. This is something we saw him do during last year's playoffs, consistently beating Anthony Davis down the floor. And this isn't exclusive to Anthony Davis. Right here is a picture of DeAndre Ayton, and right here is a picture of Nikola Jokic. One of these guys has about 7% body fat, the other guy a little bit higher. Yet this was DeAndre Ayton's reaction after trying to guard Jokic over the course of a game.
How big Jokic look? He can run, bro.
He's just one of many players and coaches that have said the same thing about his conditioning. But let's be honest, we should have known this performance was coming the moment he rocked up in a Gru-themed outfit. I'm sorry, but is there anything more Nikola Jokic than to dress up as Gru for the first game of the NBA playoffs? But this level of domination is starting to reach NBA Mount Rushmore status if he continues the way he has been. Because since last year's playoffs, the Nuggets have only been outscored in 2 games with Jokic on the floor. 2 of 21 games. Just to put that into perspective, here are 2 of the greatest players ever on 2 of the greatest teams ever, and the percentage of games their team won the minutes of. It's pretty much unprecedented to do what Jokic has done over this stretch of games in the postseason. Now, if you want to see more content like this throughout the playoffs, consider subscribing. It's going to be very regular and hopefully very enjoyable. Either way, hope you had a nice day.